What god-awful map do we have here in Game 4?
It looks like Bedouins, yeah, that one. Hannah's sighing at me because I never know how to pronounce the name. How do you say it? Bedouins. It's Bedouins!
Oh
There we go.
my. Well, guys, we're on to Game 4 in the Empire Collective Cup series between Spaden and Edie, and it looks like both players here are going to be the Mongols this game.
Yeah, which is pretty suited to the map, I think, because there's a lot of boar and a lot of deer available here. Of course, Game 4 is played on the Empire Collective Random Map Pack, which consists of 15 random, totally crazy maps. And this is just one of those that was randomly plucked out, and the players were thrown onto it. Bedouins is a pretty intense map, but I think before we talk about the map, we should probably let you introduce the players.
Sounds good, Zach. It looks like on the left-hand side of the map, guys, we have Spaden playing as the Green Mongols, and just a little bit to his right, we have Edie playing as the Red Mongols.
Yeah, and I'm just kind of looking at the chat there real quick. Spartan saying that he picks Mongols for the random pack, and he picks Persians for the light pack, because in Spartan's sort of idea, he's got the random map pack. There's more maps where you need to be fast, apparently. So that's why Spartan's choosing Mongols here, and I think that certainly works out for Bedouins, which is basically a very, very open map. A map with a ton of food. And although it doesn't really look like there's that much food on the surface, all of these little ponds are teeming with shorefish, which of course villagers gather from extremely quickly. There's loads of boar around, there's a bunch of sheep, there's tons of deer around as well. And so Bedouins is a pretty crazy map. And it's a map that was played a lot in the War is Coming tournament as well. I believe it was, as Eddie said in the chat earlier on, the Nabs home map. Nabs, of course, the team that Spartan belongs to.
Yeah, that's a really interesting way of looking at it, that the Mongols are a great choice because a bunch of these maps in the random map pack are more aggressive, and the Mongols a great choice for that, of course, due to their 50% faster hunting bonus is really, really good when we have so many boar, so much deer, and something that's not relevant too often, but relevant on this map, is just how quickly villagers gather food from shorefish. It's actually a very efficient source of food.
In fact, it's so efficient that both players are focusing. Well, I'd say both players, but well, yeah, both players are building mills and focusing on taking the shorefish. That's how good it is. Spartan here, not even bothering with deer, not bothering with boar. It's all about the shorefish, and it's kind of a very unusual map. It's, I believe, the only map that uses shorefish as the main source of food income during the Dark Age and Feudal Age. So it's pretty insane, and I think it's awesome because it forces players to move away from their town centers. And if you have a look at Eddie's TC here and look where that mill is, it's pretty far away. And I think that maps that force players to move away from their town centers often lead for the most entertaining games because it really comes down to a lot of map control. It comes down to being able to be fast, and it really favors the Mongols here as well because the Mongols are definitely a civ that prefer to do a scout cavalry rush, and in order to maximize the sort of efficiency of that and do more damage with that, you're going to want to be taking advantage of villages that are far from safety and far from the town center.
Absolutely. Now, I hear, based off reading the chat, that I sound like C3PO and I've gone full robot. Is that on my end, or is there a little bit of lag on your end?
I
What should I
don't
do?
know. It's really weird because it like I'm hearing it occasionally, but half the time after it's like when you start speaking, sometimes it's a bit garbled, and then sometimes it's not. And then after you start saying a couple of words, it's absolutely fine. So I don't really know, but it's only just started happening.
That is bizarre. Well, if you guys have any suggestions on what I could possibly do to get C3PO out of my microphone, let me know. Hopefully it's not too bad, as look at Spaden in the top of the map. You see this palisade wall with those
Yeah.
villagers in that fishing operation. Super safe.
Definitely, and big difference in strategy here already. Look at Eddie. Eddie is taking a lot of stone at the south of his TC, and it looks like he's going to be looking to do a little bit of trushing action. Whereas Spaden here is still in the Dark Age, making mills all over the place, in the north, in the south, in the east. He's got his TC on the right, where he's taking fish there as well, but he's not managed to get to the feudal age yet, which makes me think that perhaps that hunt bonus is actually stronger than the shorefish, because Eddie here, taking the deer, has been able to pull a faster feudal time here as well.
Yeah, shorefish might be efficient, but they're not exactly as efficient as that Mongol hunting bonus is. And Eddie moving up with some forward outposts. He wants vision, because he does not start with the scout cavalry. And with that faster feudal time, putting down a bunch of forward watchtowers is going to be super, super strong. Zoning Spaden off his resources, forcing to move his economy elsewhere. And since the Mongols are so very quick to the feudal age, this tower rush can be so hard to deal with.
Yeah, I like this. Look at the villages at the top of the map by the gold as well. It looks like he's, looking to strike in multiple positions from multiple angles. And this could be really, really nasty for Spaden here if these towers go down and cause a lot of trouble to Spaden's eco. The thing is, Spaden is spread out, and Eddie doesn't have that much map visibility. Sure, he has scouted the lake in the north and to the south, but he doesn't see Spaden's fishing operations there, so he doesn't really know what is going on over at those ponds. But these towers are about to come up any second, and with Spaden being slower to the feudal age, there's nothing he can do until he reaches feudal himself.
Well, he's building an outpost, but I'm not quite sure if he's able to deal with his tower rush, because like you said, not up to the feudal age yet. In the meantime, he's just going to have to let Eddie have his way, and well, there's going to be 3 watchtowers around the time that Spaden gets to the feudal age. What can he possibly do in the situation to claw back? And the answer from him is a barracks. He's going to try and make some military units and perhaps punish Eddie for going so very aggressively with all these watchtowers.
Maybe, and this is the thing, like, watchtowers are strong when you don't have any options to go anywhere else. So, let's say, for instance, someone drops a watchtower on your wood line. If you don't have another wood line, then that's really strong for the player dropping the tower. However, if you can escape and you can go somewhere else and take wood in peace over there, then generally speaking, the guy doing the watchtower actually ends up worse off, because his towers had very little impact. Right now, though, Spaden here doing a little bit of damage on these villagers, but not really losing anything just yet. He's actually dealing with this fairly well by not really dealing with it at all.
And unfortunately, though, he actually is being zoned off his main stone mine. Spaden is, so he can't make his own counter towers. And counter towers are another great way to deal with this heavy watchtower aggression. Eddie is just surrounding this town center in towers, and Spaden trying to send a couple of his villagers away to perhaps get a mining operation somewhere on the map, but Eddie saw it. He has outposts and watchtowers everywhere. These villagers on a mass exodus to find a safe wood line and some stone.
Yeah, I just realized what Spaden's biggest problem there was. His problem was the lack of wood, and I think what Spaden wanted was a stable, but he actually didn't have the wood to build it, and as a result, he's gone out to the edge of the map now to try and get some wood over there, and try and get a stable out, because for Spaden, I think he was planning on counter-attacking Eddie to try and get the scouts and hit his stone mine, or try and hit those villagers taking the shorefish, although they're not there anymore. I believe he's moved them. Oh, yeah. Wait, where? Yeah, they're all moved. They're not at the mill anymore. But I think his plan didn't work out just because of the lack of wood. And although he's got the food at the moment to make those scouts, well, he doesn't have a choice, and he can't.
Yeah, not being able to make those scouts can be a really, really bad thing, as when you go this far forward with all these watchtowers, Eddie has no real defense in his own base. He can't really stop the scouts if they came in and tried to zone him off that stone mine, and then therefore he wouldn't be able to gather stone. It would stop the tower production. Eddie gonna zone Spaden off another mill near the bottom of the map. Spaden is running out of places to gather resources, and he's running out of options.
I actually like this from Eddie. This is the thing, like, tower rushes on most maps are usually really easily dealt with. But in this situation, I mean, Eddie is just surrounding this TC with towers. And so Spaden, no opportunity to build farms later on. All the villagers that come out of this TC are now going to be in an awkward position because, well, if they want to get away to any sort of safety, they have to, well, make it out of this ring of towers that are obviously going to be trying to kill them ever so quickly. So, awkward, actually, very awkward. And still no real action from Spaden. I mean, what's he doing? Where's the stable? Where's anything at the moment?
Yeah, Eddie putting the watch in watchtowers as
Oh.
he sees everything, every single time, and then tries to send out a group of villagers to go gather some resources safely. He gets scouted out, and then Eddie brings the fight to him. Spaden just getting completely surrounded and starved out of resources, and he can't use his spearmen or his villagers either to clear out these towers easily because there's palisade walls at the base of them.
Yeah, his only real option is to build counter towers, and Spaden, fortunately, with enough scouting to be able to find that stone on the left side of the map, and he is actually taking some stone now. So sure, his main stone has been denied, but he has got access to the stone on the left, and so he is able to build some counter towers now and attempt to push this away. So even with those palisades being there, oh my god, is Eddie cheating? Oh, Eddie. Oh, that is so naughty. Look at that tower on the left side.
Oh my. Wow.
He's using the repair bug. That is dirty. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, for those of you who are not aware, you can actually repair a tower like a tile away. And it looks like Eddie is actually going to be exploiting that, right? I was wondering what that villager was doing. It's like he really wants this palisade wall. Like, that's like very, very important to him. And that's going to get, you know, a couple extra villager kills here, force a lot more idle time from Spaden, and, well, even though things are looking bad, it's actually kind of even in villagers right now.
Well, even though Spaden here is gonna be able to win this fight, that is really bad, and I'm gonna, like, I don't know, I don't know what the action is gonna be for this just yet, because I'm pretty sure it's not explicitly stated in the rules, but it is generally considered BM and, like, not acceptable to do this. So Eddie abusing that bug there, and I mean, we'll see. It might have to come down to some penalty points here for him because of that. We will see, but I don't want to make any like snap judgment right now because that would be probably not the right thing to do.
Yeah, that repair bug is generally speaking frowned upon. As here, it's getting some serious mileage. This this tower is not dead yet. Spaden can't clear it out, and he can't stop that villager from repairing either because that villager has its own walls. The tower though is going down, and you know, even though Eddie has been the one applying like 99% of the pressure this game and has almost completely surrounded Spaden's TC, we're neck and neck here. 34 to 34 villagers. It's not over yet.
Yeah, it's not over at all. I mean, Spaden here is 2 villages ahead, and even with all of these towers, Spaden is still alive, he's still kicking, and he's actually cleaned out a few of the towers from Eddie around his TC as well, allowing him to actually put a couple of farms down now as well. So, I don't know, I mean, Eddie still building towers all over the place, but at some point, those towers are really not going to become too useful to him, and Spaden will easily be able to take them out and deal with them. Eddie here, though, with a couple of scouts coming into this wood line, and it looks like they will be unsuccessful in doing a whole lot. Spaden still no stable of his own, though, which is kind of weird. I really expected scouts from him, but I guess he's kind of out of food now, and that's no longer an option.
Oh, wait, actually, if we look towards the top of the map, there's a lot of weird things going on. I see a second barracks, actually, from Spaden, and I just noticed he it looks like he has a stable, but he's getting fletching. He's getting fletching for the watchtowers, and he's a little bit behind in the military, but this forward barracks will allow him to get a couple of spearmen out to go deal with these scouts, and we've got a fight on our hands, but Eddie has more units here.
Yeah, it's hard to really say what's going on right now because it's just so much all over the place happening. With Spearman coming out, though, I think Spaden should be able to defend from these scouts, but at what cost? He's actually losing a ton of villagers over here, and that Spearman died as well to the villagers of Eddie here. I just can't believe how aggressively Eddie is playing in this game so far. It's so unusual to see such a huge amount of aggression, and I actually think it's starting to pay off as he kills a bunch of villagers on this right side and actually sets Spaden behind in villager count.
Oh, guys, how much more innocent blood must be spilled for a pointless petty war? That is the question. as it looks like Edie, believe it or not, despite being the aggressor this entire time, has 8 minutes more of total idle time on his villagers compared to Spaden. Although both players have a crippling amount of idle time of over an hour.
Yeah, for a 27-minute game and an hour's worth of idle time. And this is exactly what I was talking about earlier on. Even though Edie started towering up and it looked like he was doing a lot of damage, and even though he's forced a lot of idle time from Spaden, he's still spent a lot of time idle himself with these forward villagers, because when they're not building towers, they're not really doing a whole lot. And Edie behind in the score as well by quite a margin, 300 points behind. So it's really not that bad for Spaden, no matter how bad it looked initially. And with Spaden now starting to push some of these towers down, he's actually really put himself in a strong position with all these farms back at home.
Yeah, and this game is shaping up to be crazy. We're 28 minutes in, and there has been 0 gold collected from both players. Neither of them have any intention of getting to the Castle Age anytime soon. They are content to duke it out in the Feudal Age with scouts and watchtowers, but the effectiveness is waning. There are a bunch of towers down from Spaden, which is going to make him a little bit more vulnerable to raiding compared to Edie, who is more of a shorefish type of guy, but still, Spaden relatively well protected.
Yeah, I was going to say, just as you were saying about the gold there, I don't think you noticed, because I don't blame you for not noticing, because, Spaden's taking gold. Can you figure out where?
I am looking around, and, I do not see where he's taking gold, actually.
Keep looking. He is taking gold. It's in the least expected place.
Oh my
so
god! Whoa, okay,
It's like...
alright, I take that back, guys. Spaden is taking gold. Did he... Oh, I guess he just started this recently, so
yeah,
immediately after I said
yeah.
he wasn't taking gold, Spaden's secret agent managing to somehow avoid all of Eddie's vision, and he's going to build this mining camp completely undetected on the far right side. That's really
Absolutely
clever.
Nuts. Yeah, well, it's crazy because Eddie's never going to expect him to be down there. I don't think Eddie's even scouted down there. So for Spaden to be there now, it's safe. It's probably safer than anywhere else on the map for Spaden because Eddie's playing so aggressively. Now, Eddie here does look like he is getting some real nice control with these scouts, and he's done +1 defense for these guys as well, since I guess there's so many towers around. And I think he's killed a fair few villagers as well, looking for villagers on the stone on the left side, finding villagers over the farms as well, and if you look at the minimap, the red here is really dominant.
Oh yeah, Edie has almost complete map control, and that may end up being a big problem here for Spaden. The good news is, though, for him is that even though Edie has complete map control, he is absolutely unaware of the gold mine on the far right. And with the bloodlines, forging, and +1 defense, Edie is serious about this Feudal Age war. He is really committing to this.
He is, and I think it's the right thing to do right now because Spaden is really wide open to attack. What amazes me is that he's not put a tower up on the stone on the left-hand side. Like, why? He's been raided 3 times now, and he's still not put a tower up there. He's finally, well, no, he's not even finally. He's just, I thought he was going to do it then with the walling. But no, Edie will kill all the villagers, Spaden will build a barracks to make some spearmen to defend the now dead villagers. He's a little bit late. And Edie here with the scouts, it's the perfect thing to do in my opinion. And Edie with an extra 12 villagers out at the moment. And Spaden here looking like he's starting to get a little more crippled as Edie takes a lot more map control with these guys. And Spaden's sitting on 1,000 stone. Okay.
Wow.
1,000.
Yeah, Edie being able to commit to the upgrades like this is fantastic too, because Spaden has no upgrades on his spearmen, and while spearmen are extremely strong against scouts, once you get bloodlines +1 defense and +1 attack, spearmen are no longer that surefire, easy way to clean them out, and well, Spaden just falling substantially behind in population. He's gonna have to hold on a little while longer, but things looking extremely grim as Edie just has a lot more resources stockpiled besides stone, so he could feasibly get to the Castle Age this year.
Yeah, I've just noticed I was looking at Spaden here. He's actually got a larger military than Edie, and that's because he's on the counter-attack with some archers. That fletching upgrade, obviously for his towers earlier on, now applying to his archers here. But archers in this situation, I don't think they're anywhere near as good as scouts, not with the sheer number of towers around. Because archers are much more vulnerable to tower fire, and of course, without any upgrades on like +1 defense or anything like that, Edie can easily kill these archers with his towers, and I just don't think they've got what it takes. Archer's not the right unit choice here, in my opinion.
Yeah, Spaden gonna fall further and further behind as, like you said, those archers just so easily countered here. Edie already has a ton of scouts. He already has full upgrades on them, and with bloodlines and +1 defense, they are so strong against archers. And massing scouts in this situation, you know, normally it carries that drawback where it severely delays your castle age time because it soaks up all that food you need. But Edie doesn't need to get to the castle age anytime soon. He can just make scouts, and archers allow you to stockpile food, but that's just not that relevant in this case.
Well, it's not that relevant because Spaden just doesn't have that much food income at the moment. I mean, he has just got a lot of farms set up, but half his villagers have spent their time in the towers, and he's only just started taking the shorefish on the right again, the right of his TC. Edie with wheelbarrow, and it looks like Eddie's going to be clicking up to the castle age first anyway, even with all of these scouts on the map, and even with all those upgrades done as well. And once he gets to castle, it's going to be huge because there's a lot of spears out for Spaden, and they're just going to become just so worthless once Edie hits castle age.
Those spearmen are going to become mincemeat really soon as Eddie's got food to burn. With 1,200, he has so many steaks stockpiled that he can just mass skirmishers and mass scouts, something that normally would get you punished on a map like Arabia. But here, this map is so aggressive that the castle age is barely on each player's minds. It's sort of an afterthought. But Edie now exactly has enough gold. He's ready to start advancing. Spaden on a clock. These mass spearmen not really going to accomplish much here.
No, and not as there's more skirms coming out as well over time. So those spears are just going to be so easily dealt with. This is the thing, like Spaden's not economy, his military combination is spears and archers, which is so easily countered or dealt with by skirms. Skirms, of course, attack bonus against spears, attack bonus against archers. And Edie, as soon as he gets castle, he can go with, well, he can go with a few things. He could go with elite skirmisher. He's still making scouts right now, so he could go for light cavalry. And he'll probably want to go with a siege workshop as well. And from there, it should be a closed case, and Edie should get the win, in my opinion. But Spaden also up to the castle age now.
Ooh, that is his one shot at this game. Edie is almost guaranteed to win, but Spaden on the way to the castle age, the fact that he is barely able to make it there is his one saving grace. If the fact that Edie gets there, you know, about a minute sooner, if Edie can't kill Spaden in that time, maybe Spaden has a response, but it's looking grim. And Spaden is going to put down a stable. Maybe he's considering knights in this case, and knights going to be really strong as a way to punish these skirmishers.
Yeah, it's gotta have to be knights, hasn't it? But I think Spaden's also gonna throw down a castle. He's got 880 stone, so a castle is certainly possible for him. But wow, I mean, Edie here is taking so many of these shorefish. He's got so much food income from that, but it doesn't really matter. Spaden's calling GG, and there you go, guys. With the castle age, Spaden will call GG's. Eddie's gonna get that win, and what a game! I mean, it really looked like Spaden could have won that, even in the face of all that aggression.
Yeah, GG, well played. I really thought that this game was going to be a lot more one-sided than it actually was, as things were looking so very grim for Spaden, but he turned it around for a while, and then Edie just started producing military units sooner. He had a much stronger economy, and I suppose Edie just making the first move of those watchtowers gave him a huge edge. And also Spaden not really protecting the economy that he had in the, you know, bottom left corner of the map. Really cost him. He never put a watchtower there, and as a result, his stone miners just all died, and he just lost the game.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing for Spaden here. He actually split up his economy all over the place. Oh, by the way, his gold miners got found out eventually as well. Eddie did kill them. But yeah, I mean, like, he's had like a lumber camp on the far right. He had a lumber camp on the far left. Even further to the left, he had that stone mine. And with so much stone in the bank, it just baffled me that he didn't build towers sooner to defend those villagers that were in those, far out regions. So I think maybe a misplay there by Spaden, but the fact that he was so spread out really, really worked against him. And Edie, like, his eco was just everywhere. Well, not eco, sorry, his, like, base, effectively, was everywhere. And he could just pressure Spaden whenever he wanted, because Spaden just didn't really have any coherence in his base. It was all over the place.
And with map control like that, it can be very, very hard to come back. And I feel like maps like this really do catch players off guard, but that's what makes the Empire Collective Cup such an interesting tournament, is it really does test your ability as a player to adapt to a wide variety of situations when you have to deal with hidden civilizations and maps this ridiculous.
Yeah, definitely. And I love this map pack and for game 4, the random map pack, because it is just so extreme. And I think this is the very first game on Bedouins that we have seen so far. But there you go. We'll come out the game now, and the final scores then will be 3-1 to Edie. And I think, I kind of didn't expect that. I did think it would be a draw,